The other thing we want to look at now is adding and removing and editing trend lines and horizontal lines that you place on your screen just to add clarity. Once again, it's a very simple process. It all starts up in the toolbar on this one. To get a horizontal level of support or resistance, you're going to click on, funny enough, a horizontal line. It's like a little hyphen or a little dash, and it's in the standard toolbar. It looks just like that. And once you do that, you just go to the part of the chart that you'd like that level to sit at, and you click it and you leave it there. If you'd like to draw a trend line, it's the button just beside the horizontal level there, and you click on that one, and from there you're able to shoot out a trend line in like a ray fashion, and you can set your trend line that way. If you want to go vertical lines, we don't tend to use vertical lines too much at all, but some people like to do it to divide their charts up. That button is just right there, and it's the same concept as well. So horizontal is support and resistance, and your trend line determines the general direction of the price action. Once you've got your lines on there, you can edit them or you can delete them by double clicking or right clicking on the actual line. It's entirely up to you. If you don't like the idea of having a red support level, double click or right click on it and you can change the color of it. Okay, the same thing with the trend line. Maybe you want it to be dotted, maybe you want it to be massive and great, big and fat, whatever you want it to be. Double click or even right click on it and you'll get your box that appears, and you're able to go ahead and make the changes necessary. And what we'll do now, we'll jump over to MetaTrader and we'll have a look at doing that as well. So I've got my MetaTrader screen, I've got my pivots there. For the moment I'm going to get rid of them. Again, a very easy way to do that would be to either right click on it or double click on it. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to delete it. Let's just do the right click and let's just delete the indicator. So that's now gone. So let's find a nice level of resistance or support to draw our support level. Here we go. Sterling US dollar 1 hour chart. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to click my horizontal line. And once I do that, I'm going to find myself a bit of resistance. Ooh, my chart moves. That was weird. That's the resistance I wanted right there. Put myself a little resistance line there. And let's do some horizontal support as well, right down through here. I can see I've kind of got like a channel. And here we go, look, another example of why these lines are important. Resistance, 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 breakthrough, support, and bounce. And I've got this down here. If I want to edit these again, I can right click on them or double click on them, and I can go to horizontal line properties. Maybe I want my resistance to be yellow, and I want my support lines to be wrong button. And I want my support lines to be, I don't know, what color should we have them? Like a bluish. Okay, so I can do it just like that. Now let's identify a trend line as well. And to get rid of them, it's quite easy as well. I can just right click and delete, right click and delete. Same exact concept for trend lines. Okay, let's find a nice place, maybe sneak a trend line in here somewhere. What do we got? Let's just do that for the moment. So here we go. Click on my diagonal line at the top, trend line, and I can come down and I can shoot that trend line right out. Let's just run it up through there. Okay, you can see here, this is just a great example of even a trend line supporting price action and then resisting price action right up through here as well. If I want to edit it or change it, I can right click or double click on the trend line, and I have the option to change the color, change the style of it, change the width and the thickness. Whatever I want to do, I can do on that trend line as well. So horizontal and diagonal. There's even the vertical line if you want to go vertical. Okay, you can chuck that in there as well. I've never been a big fan of using vertical lines. I can't really see the point of them, but some people like them. So if that's what you like, get stuck in. Okay, so here we go. Now let's have a look at adding, removing, or editing Fibonacci lines. Fibonacci lines are something that we like to use at the Lazy Trader as well, because they're horizontal lines which help us to identify key levels of resistance or support or critical turning points in the price action. So let's have a look at getting these on our screen and then editing them and removing them as and when we please. So the first thing we're going to do is understand where in the toolbar that we can find the Fibonacci lines. and it's right here. There's a little F for Fibonacci and lots of little dotted horizontal lines, and that's going to allow us to access the Fibonacci lines kind of tool. Okay, to customize your Fibonacci, and you'll see them. You just drag, and you just determine the price swing that you want to measure for your Fibonacci lines. We've got so many tutorials on Lazy Trader about the purpose of Fibonacci lines and how to draw them and where to draw them. The purpose of this exercise is just understanding how to access the Fibonacci line tool on MetaTrader 4. Once you get your Fibonacci lines on the screen, the way to edit the Fibonacci lines is to double click on this dotted line. And this dotted line is just really running from the top to the bottom of the swing that you wanted to set your Fibonacci levels up against. Okay, and once you do that, you're going to click on Fibo Properties, and Fibo Properties is going to get you to this little box right here. And here's where you can customize and make changes and colors, and you can put different descriptions per Fibonacci line, and you can also change the actual percentage level of the Fibonacci line. Okay, so let's have a look here. In this box, there's two different things here. You don't want to get confused between the level and the description. The level is the actual percentage that is being drawn. The description to the right of that is what actually appears as far as the actual description of the line on your MetaTrader chart. And I think it's probably better if we look at MetaTrader and see this as a live example. Right, so let's get rid of our lines here. Get these out of the way before we get our Fibonacci things going. Okay, so Fibonacci, we're going to start right up here with this little F in the dotted lines. And once we have that, we are going to, where should I draw this at? Let's find something right in here. Okay, I'm going to measure this swing right here. So I'm going to click at the top, and I'm going to stretch them out. You can see my red dotted line right down there to the bottom of that. Okay, so that dotted line is really showing me, and I personally like how they do this. It's really showing me the swing that I'm measuring. So you got the 100% Fibonacci and the 0%. These are retracement levels, so at this point 0% has been retraced. At this point 100% has been retraced. We can see a nice kind of 61.8% rejection right through here. Now, as far as customizing this, and I've already done a bit of customization, it's going to start with me double clicking on the Fibonacci level and getting the properties to come up. Fibo properties. Okay, you can see here, let's do this. The level is actually where the line is drawn. Okay, the description is what you see above the line. So for instance, I've put the word entry on the 50 or halfway mark of the Fibonacci retracements, because a lot of stuff that we do at Lazy Trader, there's a entering either halfway up a bar or at a 50% fib level in some of the things that we do. So I put the word entry there because I know at that level I want to kind of highlight in my mind that there's likely maybe to be an entry, or I'm considering entering around that place. So the description is what is shown over here. The level is actually what's amended. To change this, you simply double click, and when you double click, you can change it to whatever you need it to be. Okay, and then hit OK. If you want your fib lines to be nice and red, change it to red and set it up that way. Okay, to delete your Fibonacci lines, very easy process. You want to double click on the diagonal dotted line that's measuring your swing and simply hit delete. If you want to get them back, you come back up here, click on Fibonacci retracements, come on down and measure the swing that you'd like to measure. Okay, and you can see now it's a red set of Fibonacci lines. You can see here I've got only one extension in it, 161.8. If you want to add more extension levels, it's all going to start with getting back to those Fibo properties, and here you can add Fibonacci levels. You can delete Fibonacci levels. You can set default. So for instance, if you always want your Fibonacci levels to be red, set that as the default. If you always want them to be blue, set that as the default. It's entirely up to you. Okay, so Fibonacci levels, click on the F, draw your dotted line and customize it to whatever extent that you'd like to customize it to. Fibonacci levels are an awesome tool to use for trading support and resistance when you combine them with things like pivot points as well. Or, I mean, there's a number of different ways you can use Fibonacci levels, but it's a really great tool and you want to know how to use it on MetaTrader 4. And we've actually managed to cover what these next few slides cover. Here's just a little example. We've zoomed in, and you can see here I've changed the description of the 50 fib level from 0.5 to entry, and it showed up that way. Okay, and I personally think when you're trading, you've got to get your chart in the way that suits you best. You've got to make it comfortable for yourself, and you've really got to get your hands dirty with it. Okay, Fibonacci levels are an incredibly powerful tool for determining entry and exit points while trading foreign exchange. We've got some awesome tutorials and information on lazytrader.com on the best way to apply Fibonacci levels that are going to enhance your trading. Okay, so let's keep moving on and look at saving the template on your chart.
What do you think of that? Trading does not have to be difficult or time consuming. In fact, all you need to become a profitable lazy trader is a single strategy which you can trade for only minutes a day. Visit thelazytrader.com and download for free 5 rapid ways to become highly profitable at Forex trading and your trade secret video pack so that you can copy the winning elite and rapidly accelerate your long-term success in financial markets trading. Trade profitably from as little as minutes a day and beat the banks and brokers at their own game. This is available for a limited time, so download it today. www.thelazytrader.com. It's free, fun, and most importantly, it will help you. Visit thelazytrader.com.